If you're anything like me, I definitely embrace the fall season full force. I hope I speak for a lot of us out there when I say that the last several days here in Central Florida have been absolutely glorious. Crystal clear evenings, a beautiful sunrise to start the day, and much more manageable temperatures to kick things off, whether it be first thing in the morning, late at night, or during the metaphorical warmest portions of the afternoon. On the other end of the spectrum, a lot of folks I know out there tend to come to Florida or love to live in the state of Florida for its almost year round summer season. So if you're like me and you love the fall, unfortunately for us, summer's coming back for a little bit of redemption. If you look outside right now, we're still hanging out in some pretty solid weather. We had a crystal clear start to our Tuesday. Rain chances are still going to remain fairly low because we're still hanging out with some dry air in the mid to upper levels of our atmosphere, but that is going to be changing. We've had an upper level low parked over northern Florida and portions of Georgia since about midweek last week that's been spinning in some dry and cooler continental air from our neighbors up north down across the peninsula and into the eastern Gulf off our west coast. Coming up here very soon, though, like I say, in all things weather, what goes up always has to come down and then back again. So if you look at the latest temperature outlook from Climate Prediction Center, we're going to rebound from a below average start to your September back into above average temperatures as we get close to the end of the month and turn our calendars into October, the start of spooky season. I know we've got hurricane season going on. It doesn't quite feel like it because we've already welcomed fall or a pseudo fall pattern down here in Central Florida, but that's going to be changing. If you come on over to your temperature anomaly chart, this is going to be how much warmer or how much cooler we are than the traditional average for this time of year. And if you notice right now, Monday through Wednesday, we've been fairly cool out there. And notice that the eastern coast of the United States, from the mid-Atlantic all the way through us in Florida, are bathed in the shades of blue. As we go beyond Monday through this Wednesday, watch how the reds really quickly build back in across the eastern United States. That's that pattern flip. And I know Florida still kind of sticks out there like a sore thumb with the light shades of blue. I think that's more of an indication of an increase in our cloud cover and an increase in our overall rainfall across the peninsula over the coming days. And I'll show you why that is. When we switch on over to this graphic that I've built, those white lines are going to be levels of height in the atmosphere. The atmosphere tends to behave a lot like the rubbers and the plastics on your cars or your tires as you're driving around. If you've ever walked outside on a cold morning and all of a sudden on your dashboard it says low tire pressure, why is that? My tires are fine. There's no nail or any kind of debris that may have sprung a leak. No, that's actually because colder air makes things a lot less dense. It tends to make things shrink down. And where these equal lines of height here on the chart here show is where we have higher heights and lower heights. It denotes where your cooler temperatures are and the atmosphere tends to shrink on down, and where your warmer temperatures are and it tends to rise. It expands. Just like when you drive the car around, that TPMS light may go away after a little while. And then in the background, those psychedelic colors you see are going to be our relative moisture in the atmosphere. It helps us to differentiate between air masses. And if you look currently, we still have some leftover dry, cooler shades of blues and teals and aquamarine colors over the eastern U.S. And then down to our west, or I should say out west, you can see those dark shades of blue, almost like the ocean coming in, because they've got even cooler, drier temperatures and conditions out there. As we go beyond this Wednesday into Thursday, I've been highlighting that as our pivotal point in the local weather pattern. Notice how all of a sudden the peninsula is cut in half. We've got shades of dark red over Lake Okeechobee, the bottom half of the peninsula, and then the upper half starting to come back into those yellows and the greens. If we go beyond Thursday into this weekend, notice how all of a sudden the entire southeast corner of the U.S. sees a return in those shades of greens, yellows, and reds. When that upper low and the trough that plopped it into our neighborhood in the first place over the eastern US kicks on out, we've got to fill in the gap somewhere. And as a result, we're going to borrow moisture and warmer air from the south to replace that gap that we have to fill in over Florida and the southeast US. So temperatures are going to continue to go up. Rain chances are also going to rebound. And it does look like, at least from now, out to the end of September, summer is going to be back in full swing, even though per the calendar, fall is only about 6, maybe 7 days away. Looking at your 7-day forecast, you can see that here plain as day. You can see for Tuesday and Wednesday, marginal chance of rain, 20, maybe 30% max, with the temperatures hanging out in the upper 80s. While temperatures won't change too much, it's the humidity, the mugginess that's really going to rebound. You're going to notice it when you step outside. Might have to switch up the outfits of the day as we move forward after Wednesday. And then this weekend, we may have a bit of a greater chance of all of us, if not most of us, seeing some rain in your area.